It's Kevin Kenny. We're live in New York City. This is the Build Series and making their triumphant return, Hot Chelle Rae.
Hello, hello.
Somebody tried to tell me that it's Hot Chelle Rae.
No,
Who told you that?
I had a moment. I had almost like a breakdown this week because I knew you guys were coming on the show, and I was like, have I been saying this wrong for over a decade now?
You have it right.
It's probably the same person that once put on our dressing room hot chili.
Oh, really?
No,
Hot
right.
chili, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I got the best pronunciation recently. It was Hot Chelle Rae. I was like, we might need to change this up.
Yeah. There's some swag in that. Well, welcome back. I mean, in just so many ways. And it's 11 a.m., as I just said, or just past 11 a.m. here in New York City. And you have big news. For the first time in a very long time, we have a Hot Chelle Rae tour.
Yes, we do.
Round of applause. This is very exciting. And not just like a couple dates, not like a couple like showcases, right? This is 30 dates. You guys are going all over the place.
Yeah, we are, and we're super excited. Well, we're gonna add them as we go, but the tour is called the Tangerine Tour, and we are just beyond thrilled to get out there and hit the road.
Yeah. What's up with Tangerine?
Well, we started dyeing Ryan's hair in his bathtub a couple months ago, and since then
And here we are. It's
That's what it said on the box.
It's bled into the socks and the watch. It's everywhere.
That's awesome.
No, it's one of the songs that we wrote last year that we're super excited about, and we've played it a few times live, and we thought it was just an awesome, fun, colorful, fitting name for a tour.
Right. Are you guys big on color and music and almost like eras, like constructing? I think that's something that we see a lot in pop music these days.
yeah, definitely. We actually were very intentional about how we wanted everything to look and feel and kind of convey what we see our fans having the emotion of, which is like, we're carefree, we're having fun.
Right.
Everything's good, and our music really reacts to people about that. So we felt like Tangerine was like the color. He had it written down as a title when we were writing, and he was like, I don't want to share this with you, but the word tangerine, I don't know what it means. The song came out in like an hour, 2 hours, something like that, and we've loved it. We're really excited to release it. But that's the name of the tour, and it's vibing good.
There is something about that word though. It's like it just feels so much better than orange.
It really does,
know?
and I don't know why, but it does.
It really does.
Well,
There's
orange
a
can be-
positive connotation to it.
Orange can be really ugly.
Yeah.
I think Tangerine's like
Loud.
set as what it is.
Yeah. It's not imposing. There's a pre-sale going on that I want to talk about right now because if you're excited, as everybody is here in New York City about this tour, and you want to check it out in your city, you can dial a phone number. You
Yes.
can text a phone number.
You can dial, you can text.
Okay.
We can call you, and we do.
Oh, this is really cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's a pre-sale that's actually going to be going up tomorrow.
Okay.
For it.
This is sponsored by SiriusXM Hits One.
Yes.
And if you're watching right now and you got a pen or your phone handy, the number is 615-398-4477. 615-398-4477. So you text this number, and then you can get tickets before the general on sale later this week.
Absolutely. Or you can get just like we're responding to people, we're answering, we're calling back. Like on the way here, we were just calling people randomly and talking to just different people who are excited about the tour, and it's been super fun to get that energy.
What's been like the craziest fan interaction on a phone? Have you guys each of you called?
We spent like a couple hours in a row the first day we did it, like straight up 2-hour chunks. I called a girl in Africa and France.
Oh no! Oh, this is international.
Oh,
Yes.
it can be, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so I didn't know where I was calling or who I was calling or what time it was. And I did have some trouble hearing through the French accent, but I was like, this is so sick that we can kind of cross the world,
So cool.
talk to our fans, interact, hear what they're excited about, and like what's hitting them.
Right. Who was the first person? I mean, it's 7 years apart, right? Or not 7 years apart. I don't want to say apart.
4 or 5.
Oh, 4 or 5. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Never been good at math. But you guys have remained friends. So, like, who was the first person to start talking about maybe getting the group officially back together?
I think that Ryan and Nash at one point, they got together and started writing, and they just felt like the old energy that we had before, and I think that really excited them. And so Ryan kind of reached out to me and was like, how do you feel about this? And I think from there, it just kind of progressed.
And Jamie, like back when we were doing this before, Jamie, we started this band, and Jamie was 16 and not writing songs, and was just, he just jumped in the van and trailer with us and went. And then, years later, he just like everybody else in our families that we grew up with, he started writing songs. And so this was a little bit different this time around because now we've got somebody else coming in with ideas. And Nash and I started writing again, and we knew it was like, it felt awesome, and it didn't just feel nostalgic, it felt right. And then we went and we played a one-off show in Japan, and it was like an acoustic show, and we played the show, and afterwards we were like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we not doing this?
Right.
And this is where the fun is at. This is like what we enjoy.
Well, they had like 300 people packed into a club at noon for like a secret kind of unadvertised show. And that was so insane to us to go, fly whatever it was, like 12, 14 hours, land and play this for a full room, like without advertising, and then have the van like swarmed on the way out of it. We're just like, this is so fun. It's so great to know there's still love for us, and we just started grinding hard on new songs, and we are so excited to be dropping all the new music we've been working on.
Oh, yeah. And now it's so cool because not only are you independent, but you can also just, the music industry has changed so much since a decade ago, where you can now just drop those like continuously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's got to be liberating, right?
it is extremely liberating, and that's going to be the real fun is we get to sit around and go, when do we want to do this? When can we do this? Versus, are we allowed to do this? Are we able to do this? And it's a way better feeling being that connected to your audience and your fans and people who are basically friends at this point.
Yeah, totally. Was it a matter of like, Jamie, as you were saying, like, you guys just kind of working together and then giving him a call. Was it like you guys were writing songs and then certain songs were sort of raising their hand and saying like, oh, this is a Hot Chelle Rae song?
I think that was a huge catalyst for this. I mean, we'd write a song, and then I'd look at Nash, and he'd look at me and be like, well, who the hell are we going to pitch this to? Who's going to cut this? Like, nobody can do this song but us. Like, there's no way. And I think that's part of, like, our identity and our sound, and you get a few of those, and, you end up with 10 or something like that, and you're like, well, this is a record. I mean, this feels awesome.
And the sound has evolved quite a bit in a really great way, and just music has changed so much from a business side, but also sonically, hip-hop has sort of become a lot more popular maybe than it even was in 2011, 2012, 2013.
Oh, absolutely.
And you guys have accounted for that sonically, I understand.
Yes, the music has matured. We haven't matured at all, but the music has really...
You've actually
We've matured.
really taken shape. No, it definitely has had a huge influence, and it actually kind of fits more into our wheelhouse. I feel it's we've always had like a little bit of that kind of beat and swag to it, and it feels great.
I feel like Nash has always been a little bit ahead of the curve of Ryan and I when it comes to hip hop in general, and he's always loved it just a little bit more than us, and that's really it's really benefited us because I feel like he's brought something to these songs that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I'll come in with like a really sad idea, and he'll be like, "What if we just throw some like 808s and like this beat on it?" I'm like,
Make
"Oh,
it
that's cool.
sound
I'm
happy."
less depressed now. That's nice."
No, but we have grown so much in the last 5 years, and coming back together, we can feel that it's, crazy different, the level we're working at, because we've worked on so many projects since then. So we've written for other artists. We've, like he wrote on his solo record in between, and there's been a lot of like writing and production chops that have come up. So now, I Hate LA was the three of us doing it without any collaboration, just us in-house. And then we brought in a homie of ours from like, my mom and his dad went to high school together. Like,
super long time.
old
friend.
school, yeah.
Yeah.
And keeping it that tight without hitting up, another just industry person for the sake of it is really cool for our first release to come back and just have that nucleus.
Are there things you guys feel as artists you can do now sonically that maybe because lanes were a bit more rigid a decade ago when you were breaking out that you couldn't do because you were maybe a quote-unquote pop act?
Absolutely. I feel like as time progresses, the genre lines just continue to get more and more blurred, and that I think is a huge benefit for all artists because you can look at anybody's playlist and it's going to have Lil Uzi Vert, Sam Hunt, Adele, and whoever else, and I think that is awesome for music because it's no longer just. It makes top 40 make more sense. It can be anything. It truly is a melting pot, and I feel very fortunate for our band because we can just kind of jump right into that and feel comfortable.
I want to talk about the production behind the song, but just, I guess, broader. Nash, I heard you were saying that you love LA because you feel like the producers out there are always sort of pushing the envelope in terms of production. Are there any sort of tactics or approaches, or maybe even just people you can even name drop that really excite you right now in terms of production?
Oh man, I mean that's what I love about the industry. There is the creativity is so hungry to start some new, fresh something. I was in the studio with some producers who just did like the Coldplay and like Kanye records, and like they're on some stuff where they're like, "Yo, I don't want this to sound like a snare we've used before." Just that concept alone of like what's really, really brand new is so inspiring. And so like, you know, we're able to play around and experiment a little bit, and like you were saying, do stuff that genre-wise we were kind of locked into. And even with the label, you know, like that we were working through, we had all these gatekeepers, and it's like getting approval from the ground to the ceiling of, I don't know, 100 people before you release a song, slow stuff down. And like now we've got all of this like newfound speed and freshness. So the lyric video that you guys just played, I mean, we finished that last night, and Jamie didn't see it until you guys played it.
I was watching backstage. I was like, wow, this is a cool lyric video.
Like, he was on a plane all day yesterday, and this
classic
is like,
Jamie.
you know, he lands, he's like, ah, cool, I'm sure it's like fine if they didn't spell anything wrong, whatever. And that quickness and speed that you can come with doing indie is amazing.
Yeah. We'll talk about the realities of being indie, though, because I think in almost a post-Chance the Rapper world, if you will, the idea has been a bit romanticized, right?
Yeah.
And there's some great advantages, of course, as we're seeing. The music sounds fantastic, but I'm sure, as you guys probably know, there's a ton of challenges as well.
Totally. I think the thing that we've been kind of conditioned to being on a major for so long is when you do this independent, you really do. And it's incredibly cliche, but like you do have to put on so many different hats, and it's like, okay, you know, today is going to be like marketing. Like we got to really like figure out the rollout. We got to like, and of course we're hiring people and having help, and we've got an awesome team and whatnot. But you definitely have to like switch modes pretty often. And then, you know, as far as like before that, it's, you know, there were departments for that kind of thing. You know, you'd get single artwork from someone because there was someone doing that. Now it's kind of like, okay, I'm thinking Barbie.
Yeah, who came up with it?
It's
Sad Barbie.
Yeah, sad. That's what happens when you move to LA for so long. You look. I'm gonna look like that really soon. Actually,
It's actually not a Barbie. It's
not
a,
you?
no.
It's not a Barbie. It's the photo of this girl that was coming out of one of the clubs, you know, at like 2:30, and
No, that's the beauty of it. We do have a lot of really, really talented friends, and we actually, one of our really, really good buddies who happens to be in another band, actually really helped us with this whole situation and kind of made all these things come to life for us. So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of other bands, I'm a huge Water Parks fan, and you guys rode with Water Parks,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Alston.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were,
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the projects we worked on between doing Hot Chelle Rae, and we were just kind of like hanging and writing on whatever together.
Yeah.
And he was living in Nashville, so he'd come out and it'd be like whatever was happening, we had to jump on and do together.
That's awesome.
But everything kind of had that tinge of what we sound like.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of begging to happen again.
When I heard that, it was a bit of a light bulb moment. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I like both these things.
Austin really inspires my hair choices. Let me just put that.
yeah, exactly. Totally. I want to just kick it back really quick because I think it's fascinating when you catch lightning in a bottle as an act so early on in your career, like you guys did with Tonight, just a song that really took over the world there for a minute. And your relationship with that song, because some people, I feel, you know, we have so many great guests here on Build that have songs like that, there's like a resentment at times, or you can go on the other spectrum where there's just such great appreciation. What is your sort of relationship with Tonight?
I don't think, and I can maybe speak for you guys, I don't think I've ever not been excited to play that song.
Yeah.
And anywhere. And that's even through, I did a solo country record, and I played that song every night on the country tour, and it never got old. It's still
different style or the same?
A little bit different,
Okay.
but like I mean, relatively the same, and
Right.
and that speaks to the genre blurring. I mean, you can go out in front of 30,000 hardcore country fans and play that song, and it just hits, and
Right.
that feeling really doesn't get
Well, and
old.
also the strength of the song. I mean, that's just an undeniable song.
Yeah,
you know?
it's I mean, it makes everybody feel good, but it doesn't. I don't know the artist that gets sick of it, but it doesn't get old to me.
I think the only time that we resented it was about mid-2011 when we were making everyone's ears bleed by hearing it over and over and
everywhere,
over again.
right?
Hey, if you're not sick of it, then we're not sick of it.
You know what's funny? We had Adam Duritz, lead singer of the Counting Crows, on last year, and he was talking about Mr. Jones, right? And like, of course, that's probably the song that people go to for that band, right? At least initially, they have a bunch of great songs, but that, monster. And he was saying, he's like, I didn't think that record or that song was any necessarily better than anything else we've done. It's just sometimes culture just like decides to focus on your band and go crazy for your band, and you're happy and you're grateful for it, but like that song may not be any more special to you than the song that might be considered a deep cut by the public. How do you feel like within that context? Like, did you know it was a special song, or you were just kind of happy the world went crazy for it?
Man, I mean, I knew it was a special song because we got the idea kind of solidified, and we were listening to it and went on stage to play a show, I think like New Jersey or something. And while playing a whole different song live, I had it in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, is it really this catchy? Am I crazy? And just the la 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 part alone was melodically stupid catchy. And I was like, okay, we gotta like follow through with this and like make this a reality, because it's way too good if we're playing a different song, like singing and performing, and this other song is in my brain.
Jamie and I got the copy of the final copy of the song back together. And before, I mean, full disclosure, before we got like the finished version, like the song didn't sonically sound great. Like it just didn't have the same feeling. And when we finally got back the final version, I think we were riding in the car together, and I was like, oh, we got it. We put it on, and I think about right at the top of the chorus, I think we just kind of both looked at each other and we went, holy shit, this is gonna be big. Like this feels big, and I don't think you can get tired of that feeling.
Dude, our A&R guy, I don't know how his brain works like this, but he was like, I'm not gonna weigh in on if I think this is a hit until it's mixed. I'm like, a song's a song. If it's great, it's great. And he's right. It sounded kind of like dog shit. It was like thrown together and like whatever. And then we heard the mix, and it was crazy.
Yep.
Right.
Like just that touch, like straight up made the song do what it did. Right. It hit so well.
I'd love to ask, the songwriters that you guys are about. I think there's this misnomer that a lot of people don't talk about, where they think like simplicity is easy, right? Like a la la la. They think, oh, that's so easy to write a la la la. But it's probably one of the hardest things to do, right? To write something catchy and simple.
Yeah, I think we've actually talked about this before. It's extremely hard to write a song that repeats something that doesn't get annoying.
Right.
Often, especially in pop, it's like if we write a chorus that like we come up with a melody that we feel is good enough to say the same thing over and over again without changing the lyric, like we always get super excited about that, because it is really easy to be annoying when you do that. So it's simplicity is extremely challenging.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Let's kick into some fan questions here in New York City. The first is going to come from over here.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Don't mess us up.
So you guys briefly talked about the increase of genre fluidity within the music industry, and I was wondering how that impacts the creative process for you guys when you're writing new music.
well, I think we used to think about things in kind of constructs where we would write, if we wrote a song, we'd be like, oh, does this fit into Top 40? Does this fit into Hot AC? Does it fit in, is it hip hop leaning? Is there a place at radio for it? And I feel like now we are not near as constrained by it, and I think we think about that far less, if even at all, at this point. We get to just kind of get in a room and go, okay, instead of where does it fit, we go, do we like it? Does it excite us? Do we think it will? Do we think that the people who listen to our music are going to feel the same excitement that we do? And for once, we actually kind of get to sort of ignore that, which is the most freeing feeling when you're creating anything.
Good question. One more?
Hi, I was wondering how each of you finds inspiration, like whether it's something you hear or you're walking down the street in LA and you see something. Is it different for each of you?
I'm really inspired when Nash just doesn't talk to me.
Which is
just leaves me
months.
alone.
We're talking right now because you guys are watching us, but as soon as we're in the car, it's over.
No, but that's a good question.
We do get inspiration from everywhere. We have a song called Tokyo that was literally written about the exact moment we all went on a trip there for like 8 days. Ryan proposed to his girlfriend at the time, and we just literally wrote out what happened. So it goes from like real life moments to like I Hate LA is real life, but you know, we're also not great at origami. So there's poetry to like elaborate on your situations with when you're making music. Thank you.
Before we wrap things up, I did want to ask you guys, what are you listening to right now that you're just like fans of?
Man, I wish I had my phone out here to show you that genre blurred playlist because it's just all over the place. Man, what's the last thing? I mean, I've definitely been listening to the new Selena a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? That's amazing. Yeah, she's the best. We've had the joy of playing a few shows with her. I think the song "Vulnerable" is just like killer. Listening to a lot of different hip hop.
Give us your indie songs, Ryan. I know you got a bunch of them.
I listen to a lot of Glass Animals.
Yeah. Of course. They have new. I think they have new music coming.
Yeah, they do. They just released, what was it, Tokyo Drift, Tokyo Drifting, which is so dope.
Man, I've been like shuffling a lot of new stuff that comes out. I've been super into coffee. I have a personal love for some like soca Caribbean stuff, but the last album that I just played literally 3 times through before I realized I had was like the Chance the Rapper's album.
Yeah.
I hit him. I was like, dude, there are some jams on this thing. You've got to get on it.
Oh, I left out an album that's been pretty, like I'm just burning it to death. The Harry Styles record is just
so good.
Stupid good. I mean, I when he released the ballad, I think I was like driving to, this is a really lame story, but whatever. I was driving to Sprouts grocery store, and I like, the song was on.
Cool,
I was
bro.
like halfway through it, and I pulled in the parking lot, and I was like getting ready to get out, and I was listening to the song, and like it literally like brought tears to my eyes, and I sat in the Sprouts parking lot and listened to the whole song, and sort of cried. And
Ryan actually played that song for me, and we cried together.
That is
in
not
the
true.
car.
That is not true. No, but that record's been on repeat.
What are you into?
Honestly, anything that Lauv releases, I don't know how to say it. Is it Lauv?
Lauv.
That sounds
Lauv.
good.
Yeah. Anything he releases, like every song he's released in the last year, I've been completely obsessed with.
Totally.
Like, playing 30 times in a row, obsessed with.
Yeah. It's been cool to watch his trajectory because like, you know, when I Like Me Better came out, I was like, he's never gonna write something as catchy as this. And then every single time, it's like a great track.
Hit.
Yeah.
Jamie and I always, and this has been like the story since we started this band. Jamie has like, I feel, we say it's an expression, but he has the best ears, I feel like, in the band. He's able to like.
But you knew about Call Me Maybe early, right?
Oh yeah, like.
Didn't you know about Carly Rae like in like a year
I
before?
liked it a lot.
Like,
how do you know that? That's impressive.
No, he like played me that song, and he was like, this song is gonna be big, and I was like, this is so uncool.
Right.
and he was like, you're wrong, and then he was right, and I was wrong. The song was incredible. But we always kind of shoot music back and forth, and you know, kind of keep each other in the loop on what we're listening to and whatnot.
But let's talk about the most polarizing new record, Yummy.
Oh yeah.
You like it?
This is what I'll say. I'll be really honest about it. I think it's great for what it is. I wanted kind of getting back to what you like about LA in terms of experimental production. I think as like the king of pop right now, Justin Bieber, I always look to him to sort of dictate the next wave, and I think he certainly did that with like What Do You Mean? Sorry, certainly. It's not a bad song by any means. It's a great song. It's number 2 on the Hot 100 this week. I just don't know if it's gonna set any trends. But you know what? Maybe there's like a great follow-up, you know?
I mean, personally,
There has to be.
it's like the word moist. It's very.
Oh, you don't like Yummy?
No,
No. I mean the word.
I love it, but I mean, the melodies are amazing, but I love any move that's like a lovable or hateable thing. I'm very into like polarizing people and risking not being liked to be loved by somebody who's got the opposite opinion. And the word yummy is right along moist. And it's like, what's this song gonna be? And I was like, all right, it's a bop. But the word is like a very
little,
scary thing to press play on.
The video is awesome. I will say that.
I'm gonna listen to whatever the dude puts out.
Yeah.
That's bottom line.
Totally. Very excited for R and Bieber and that docuseries he's got coming out. All right, one more time, this phone number that's very, very important. So again, get your Note app out. 615-398. Oh, and it's on your screen. Look at that. Technology's a hell of a thing. 4477. Dial that up. You can get access to the pre-sale, and then maybe even get a ring back from these
That's
guys.
actually Nash's personal phone number, so you
There
guys
you
just
go.
really enjoy that.
So just text it a lot.
Awesome bet, right? Awesome.
Get it.
All right. Guys, we're unfortunately out of time. I Hate LA is out. You can enjoy the lyric video as well, and then a pre-sale code. Just text these guys. Hot Chelle Rae, everybody.
Woo! Thanks, guys.